I'm going to go and factor this trigonometric expression, and that's a cotangent squared of x minus cotangent squared of x times the cosine squared of x. Okay, so we're most definitely we'll have our identities handy and using our awesome factor skills. All right, so hopefully the first thing that you notice is that each term, each monomial has a factor of cotangent squared. So let's go ahead and factor that out. So cotangent squared of x, I'm going to factor it out, which means cotangent squared of x times what gives me back this? Well, that's just going to give us 1. Minus, well, since that's gone because we factored it out, all we're going to have left is cosine squared of x. This right here should ring a bell. You should be like, ding, ding, ding. This should look very familiar. And so on the side of paper, you may want to write down the Pythagorean identity so that you can see what is this really equal to. Sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x equals 1. So we're trying to get 1 minus cosine squared of x. So if I subtract cosine squared of x into both sides, I get sine squared of x equals 1 minus cosine squared of x. And so I can replace 1 minus cosine squared of x. I can replace this whole thing with sine squared of x because that's what it's equal to. So now I'm going to have cotangent squared of x times sine squared of x. Now, when we're dealing with these expressions, we don't want to just stop there because if we can simplify more, then keep going until you've exhausted all simplifications. I guess that's a word, I suppose, right? So, we can turn sine squared over, 1 over cosecant, but that's not going to help us. But we can turn cotangent squared into cosine squared of x over sine squared of x. And then we have a sine squared of x right here. And see what happens there? Now all we have is cosine squared of x, which is much more simpler than what we had up there. So that is it.